Day 903, just leaving the coffee shop. So I grabbed this workbook to fill out to get really clear on my ideal customer and the pains and the problems and their struggles, because I need to get really clear on those, because that's what I need to be doing ads about and posts about. And so I went, sat outside the coffee shop, read the Bible for a little bit. It's crazy, like everything that like is getting highlighted to me in the Bible. Like I'm reading Ezekiel, but then I saw these people had this sign on the corner right next to where I was sitting, and then I went to their website and I felt drawn to go to Micah 7, which I don't even know what that is. And I read it, and it was all about like, you know, the people and how rebellious they are and they're going to be punished, and Ezekiel is all about that. And I watched this movie last night that's all about that, and it's just like everything that is coming at me is just like this, like it's like the end is coming, and it's like serious, and I'm like, wow, this is, yeah, there's a shift in the atmosphere, there's a shift in the world, and like this stuff is real, and so everything that I'm reading, it's like putting this conviction in my heart, like, man, I gotta grow more, I gotta change more, like I really gotta fix my ways of living that are not in alignment with God. Like I really need to repent and change my ways. Repent just means to change direction, and so like I got some changes to make, even more changes. You know, I think I'm doing really great, but it's like we're coming to the end of times. Like that's just the reality. Like, and God just is showing me all this stuff, and I'm understanding more and more why God has done the things that he's done, and that all of the things he's done is our fault. We're so rebellious, like we're so stubborn, we're so prideful. And so yeah, anyway, so I read some of that, and then I started working on this sheet, and I get to the first page and I just start getting so stuck and just like frustrated, like I don't know what their concerns are or their worries are or their doubts are, you know, these like millennial believers who want to change the world and are on fire for God, and you know, all these things. It's like, man, I don't know what their struggles or their problems are. Like I can't figure out, like, you know, what they're doing. And I'm just like, so I just stop and I just sit there and I just pray and I say, God, just help me. Like, who do you want me to go after, God? Like, not who do I want to go after, who do you want me to go after? Like, who are the people you want me to go and find and bring into this and make them a part of this? And I just prayed. I said, God, your word says that if I ask for wisdom and believe I'll receive it, you'll give it to me. God, please help me. So I just went and I sat in the sun, and I just sat there, and then boom, it hit me. It's people just like me. Like, that's what it is. And the terminology he gave me is sleeping warriors. You know how there's like sleeping giants? Well, these are sleeping warriors. They're these warriors that have greatness inside of them. They are full of potential. They know they're here to do something massive in the world, but they're sleeping. They're not living into their purpose. They're not living into their potential. They're not living into their greatness. And it's the most frustrating thing in the world. And their greatest fear is to die having not lived into their potential. Their greatest fear is to live a life of mediocrity. And so all of these things started coming to me. So I went through the worksheet, and every time when it said like, what is your who's biggest fear? What is your who's greatest desire? I change all that to what is your biggest fear? What is your greatest desire? And God helped me realize that whole workbook that I'm about to fill out is all about me, because he wants me to find more people just like me. These sleeping warriors, these people who are full of greatness, that desperately want to live into it and change the world. And then it hit me. I went back to when I was at conference, and God was speaking to me through someone at church, and he said, multiply, multiply. And I went back and I read the message that guy sent me. And he said that God was telling him to duplicate yourself, to raise up more disciples and leaders and duplicate yourself. And it was just like such massive confirmation and multiplication. He wants me to multiply myself. Like, and I know myself better than anyone else does other than God. Like, I know my problems, my desires, my struggles, and he wants me to find people just like me. And this is what it just like, boom, just a bomb dropped on my mind of like, wow. Now here's the stupidest part in the world. When I do purpose coaching with people and we figure out who's their who, it's them. They literally end up describing themselves 100% of the time. And I'm just like, wow, Chris, it's right in front of your freaking face and you couldn't even see it. It's like right here. And I'm like, what is it? What is it? So dumb. So that was funny and stupid and relieving. And so, yeah, he just wants me to find more people just like me. And like, those are the people I can relate to the most. You know, I can't stand when someone's not committed and they're not all in. You know, I can't stand when someone, you know, isn't like, just goes for it, you know, and doesn't look back. Like, so I need people like that to be a part of this. And these people who know they've got greatness inside them, they know that God has a massive calling on their life. And so, yeah, it was just like so enlightening and so stupidly obvious now that I can see it. So I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna food prep, so I'm good to go for the next 4 days, and then I'm gonna work on this some more, and then later tonight I'll relax, chill. There's this movie I want to watch that is based on, well, it's more of a documentary, but it's based on this book that I just got when I did that podcast with that lady. She's like the whole time I was like, I have to tell Chris about this book. I have to tell Chris about this book. And it just so happens to be how everything that's happening in the world and everything that has happened in history is all pointing to the fact that we're coming to the end of days. Like, ooh, I just got chills when I say that, like good chills. Like, yeah, it's actually coming. Jesus is coming back. Like, and I think it's going to happen in my lifetime. I mean, why else would he be pointing me to all of this stuff? So I'm going to watch that documentary tonight. I'm super excited to watch it because she told me to get the second book, because she said you don't need to get the first book to understand the second book, and you got to read the second book. And so the documentary is about the first book. So I can watch the documentary about the first book, and then I can read the second book because I actually have it. So yeah, God's doing something. He's doing something. I think he's putting a new level of conviction in my heart too. Like, this is seriously about saving souls. You know, this whole last week, when I did my Words to God call, I was like, guys, God is just showing me this is about saving souls. It's not about building a huge business or making a ton of money or creating a cool brand. Like, it's about saving souls. And there was a new level of conviction and seriousness in my heart from that. So yeah, it's getting real. It is getting real. Oh, I have to go make this deposit. Okay. I'm doing some seriously responsible financial things. So I'm showing God, you can trust me, God. I'm gonna take care of things. So yeah, I need to go do that right now. I'm so glad I just remembered that.